Good morning, everybody. It's Hammer. Today is Tuesday, January 9th, 2024. Almost fell into that one. Coming to you, as always, live from Originator Success. Remember, you can join me live each and every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, for your daily rate conversation. The only place on the web where you guys get to be a part of the conversation. Appreciate you joining me. Remember, you can watch this on the replay, but it is a lot more fun to join me live. If you're here this morning, say good morning. If you're watching on the replay, though, don't forget, give me a hashtag replay in the comments, as so many of you do, and I appreciate that. So thank you for doing that each and every day, as those of you that come back and watch the replay. Whether you're here live or on the replay, don't forget to smash that like button, tagging hello friend, share us in the group. If you're on YouTube, go ahead and subscribe, as well as give us a thumbs up and all that good stuff. Remember, you can sign up for my written email lock advice. We send out an email each and every day, www.ratelockadvice.com, or use this cool QR code. Just take your phone on the putter, sign it on there, bloop, and go ahead and sign up for the Rate Lock Advice. Also, we have our $7 a month text alert service. The only thing I actually charge for in this whole thing, get out, that's because it costs money to send text messages. So www.ratetextalerts.com. You can go ahead and sign up for those. And last but not least, check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Although I love talking to you about rates and pricing each and every day, what we do here at Originator Success is help you to get loans from Google and social media. Check us out at originatorssuccess.com. Find out how. Last but not least, don't forget to sign up for live text reminders that I'm going live each and every day here. So if you'd like to have a reminder, text message to your phone at 9:30 a.m. Eastern Time, go ahead and sign up at hmmr.io/live-reminder, or use the code below. So now that we got all that stuff out of the way, my friends, let's go ahead and say hi to our live folks. If you're here this morning, don't forget to say hello so I can say hello back to you. So let's go ahead and see who do we got here live this morning. Let me scroll back up. So we got Mallory Fotiadis. Good morning, Mallory. Mike Tebow, good to see you. Monica Dinkins, thank you for the sunshine. I am here in New Jersey this morning. No sunshine. It's like an ugly, overcast, nasty day. I miss my North Carolina mountains. So thank you for that bit of sunshine. Kenny Rivard, good morning, my friend. Great to see you. Tim Kleila up in Michigan. Tim, I hope that there's some snow coming that way, man. I'm going to Wisconsin next month, and the snowmobile trails still have no snow. I'm freaking out. Allison Foy, good morning. Tom Dedmore, Rob Stewart, great to see you as well. Sheila Garcia, good morning, Sheila. All right, y'all. So let's go into the good stuff. Let me go ahead and I'm actually going to leave the comments off for now, just so you guys can see what's going on. So mortgage bonds starting the day down about 3 basis points. It's kind of the same old, same old. We started out a little bit down early in the morning and then bounced back over the last hour or so. Kind of very much where we are. Mortgage-backed securities, if we do a 5-day thing here, you could see that they never really have gone up too high. They've been up to around 120, 100.20, down as low when that jobs data came out to 99.36. But overall, really just kind of staying right around this 99.90 mark. We've, really, this is just the level playing field. What that's done is that means that mortgage rates and rate sheets have been very, very consistent as well. 6.72, 70, 76, 75, 74, and that's where we're morning. Looking at rate sheets that are very much the same as what we have seen the last couple of days. Really nothing there that's going to change. As far as what's on the economic calendar for this morning, no, sorry, that's not what I thought I could get to the, I got to make this smaller to, there we go. Okay. So looking at what is on the economic calendar for this morning, there is really nothing going on that we have to worry about. Fed Barr will be speaking. He's one of the Fed members, but really, he's going to just probably beat the same drum everyone else did. And I'll be talking about that in a minute. Otherwise, no data here. Of course, the data that we're looking for this week, what we're paying attention to, will be this double-starred core CPI inflation report. The headline inflation report also important, but the core being the most important. The core CPI, consumer price index, consumer inflation data coming on Thursday, and then producer prices on Friday, but those are much, much less likely to really do any kind of an effect on bonds. So not anything, much less of a concern for what's going on Monday. A couple of fun things to go over this morning, looking at the 5 things to start the day here on Bloomberg. There's really no economic data, but there's a couple of things that we want to pay attention to. Number one, Bill Gross, former bond king, but yet still bond influencer. It's kind of like a social media influencer, bigger. Former Bill Gross, he basically thinks that 10-year treasuries are overvalued, and that's not good. That's not good for us if he's right, and he's been right lately. So global bonds rebounded yesterday after sliding days of 2024 on concerns the rally late last year had gone too far too fast. Now, remember, I don't think it did because we were improving from October's terrible bounce. But Bill Gross, who earned himself the title Bond King at Pacific Investment Management, has signaled he is now steering clear of treasuries. In a post on X, formerly known as Twitter, Gross said he sees 10-year treasury inflation-protected securities offering 1.8 yield as the better choice if one needs to buy bonds compared to overvalued U.S. 10-year treasuries at 4% yield. Now, remember, if the value of the 10-year treasury goes down, the yield goes up. All right. And we don't want to see yields go up. So that's kind of one of the things that we want to hopefully he's wrong. Hopefully we're not seeing 10-year treasuries that are overvalued. Why would they be overvalued? Bonds, of course, all improved because of the idea that the Fed is going to cut rates in March. So if we look at Fed futures right now, they have really not changed. Still only a 40%, less than 40% expectation that we're going to see things remain the same into March, which means there's over a 60% expectation that we will see them change. And actually, this is a fluctuating, moving number. We were as much as 90% at one point. However, 5% over the last couple of hours, the last day, and now 38%. So little bit less it's betting on a move, but not enough that it would shake things up or make any kind of a difference. Now, yesterday we did have a couple of Fed out there. Fed Governor Michelle Meek, what is she has a nickname? Hold on, let's see. What is Michelle Bowman's nickname? What is Michelle Bowman's nickname? I think it's Miki. Yeah, Miki. All right, so Michelle Miki Bowman, she yesterday said, hey, yes, things are good, but they're not that good. Should inflation continue to fall closer to our 2% goal over time, it will eventually be great to begin the process of lowering our policy rate to prevent policy from becoming overly restrictive. We are not yet at this point. So again, different Fed members beating the same drum. They're not going to give in to markets that they think that they're going to need to start cutting rates. Now, even markets don't believe that we're going to cut in this January meeting, about 21 days. 95% expectation that the Fed will hold steady in January, but we could see rates improve as we get closer to this meeting or as this meeting occurs, depending on what happens with Fed Chair press conference and if markets believe that it makes a March rate cut more likely. All right. And then we're going to see mortgage rates continue to improve over 2024 as markets believe that, yes, we will see more rate cuts heading into the end of the year. So we do have room for rates to improve, not necessarily in the short term. One more thing, though, I wanted to hit for you, though. There was Michelle Bowman. We got Mr. Raphael Bostic. Also, he is a Atlanta Fed president. By the way, do you know the difference between the Fed governors and the Fed presidents? I didn't, so I Googled it. The Fed governors are always voting members, whereas the Fed presidents do a year on, year off as far as voting. And there's some administrative differences, of course, in the back end and what role they play over banking regulation and things like that. So, but, Bowman is a voting member. And I think Bostic, let's see, 2024 voting Fed members. I think Bostic is a voting member for 2024. Let's take a look here. Bear with me. So yes, 2023 members, he was not there. So he's a 2024 member. So yes, he will be voting in 2024 Atlanta. So Bostic is a voting member. And again, what he said was that inflation is on the path to reaching the Fed's target, but it's still too early to declare victory, and we must stay on the path. So anyway, that kind of puts us all in that same position where there's really not much of an expectation that we're going to see rates improve much from here, but we're also not going to see them get much worse. Keep that in mind. Mike said, am I coming to Michigan? No, Mike, generally don't make it up to Michigan. Usually Rhinelander, Wisconsin is where we go snowmobiling. Lock advice, cautiously float. Nate Joma said he's following the advice of NAR President Tracy Casper and floating because the rates are expected to be in the fours within the next 45 days. Actually, didn't Tracy Casper just bail? She was getting blackmailed. She was, again, I should be very careful not to treat this too lightly, but there was somebody blackmailing her, and for the betterment of NAR, she stepped down. So I'll leave it at that. I saw something about that in Inman. Ron said, I can't figure out why Bill Gross favors the 1.8 inflation bond versus the 4% 10-year yield. I don't either, Ron. He gets credit with being the bond king, though. You know that. So there is definitely a lot of talk about how he is the smartest guy in the room when it comes to bonds. So just figured we would pay attention to it and talk about it. But other than that, my friends, it should be a quiet day. Again, the advice remains cautiously float, but don't be afraid to lock anything up. When we get to Thursday's CPI inflation data, right? I mean, it would have to be better than expected. Remember, we saw just 0.1%, 0.1, a tenth, 0.1% better, and we saw bonds rally to that, right? However, if it does come in a little bit worse, well, that means it's going to pull the rug out on traders of that March hike, and we could see rates creep higher. So there is some risk floating into it, but there's also the potential for some reward. Loans that have the most time, that are not closing until February, I wouldn't worry about locking those. We've got lots of opportunity to see rates come back down a little bit. But we're, again, it still appears the worst is behind us. We're in a good spot. Ron said, I don't doubt him, just don't understand the logic. Yeah, I get you. And Nate said, you're correct about Tracy Casper. And of course, I am joking. I know that, Mr. Nate. I know. So, all right, my friends, that is it from New Jersey. I will see you again tomorrow, same bat time, same bat channel. Now, again, we'll see what else there is to talk about there tomorrow. Should be a pretty quiet day, though. Reprice risk is low. Not a lot you have to worry about today. Bonds continue the trend of improving on an weak overnight start to the day, which has kind of been the case. Rate sheets today may be a smidge worse, but it won't be much at all. The lock advice remains cautiously float. Don't forget to join me live tomorrow, and I'll see you then. All right, everybody, take care. Make it a fantastic day, my friends. All right, bye-bye.